Okay, we've got our seat shaped roughly. We'll do a little bit of finessing in due course to get this nice and smooth. But now we're going to start thinking about the joinery. And the next step is to decide which legs go where, and then we'll measure for the stretchers, drill for the stretchers, measure and shape the stretchers, and then get ready to put the undercarriage together. It's raised up because the legs, the top of the legs actually extends a bit too far for it to be flat on the bench. We'll raise it up a couple of blocks. We need to decide which leg goes where, and plus the orientation. So it's a case of having a look whether you want to, which face you want to go to the front, which legs are on the front, which ones on the back, whether there's any preferences. I generally look for a nice bit of figured grain, or I quite like this here, we almost got like a chevron type pattern. So I want that towards the front and slightly to the outside. So that will look good if we put it on this leg here, front around this way. And then we're going to line up one of the sort of flat faces rather than the 45s. That's slightly bigger, in line with our back leg. So these surfaces are lined up with the leg, rather than being sort of lined up with the front of the seat, but aim it towards the back of the leg. We'll tap that in. Again, have a look at the leg, decide which faces to go towards the front. Line up with the leg. Now our back leg here has got a knot hole in, so it's a case of whether we put that on display or whether we sort of tuck it away. I'm inclined to tuck it away, so we'll put that sort of into the middle of the seat. With the back legs, we're going to sort of put those a bit more on the angle. So rather than being facing this leg, we'll put it on the 45, so to speak. So coming onto the chamfer of the octagon, I should say. Right, so at this stage, if you like, we've made our decision regarding the legs. So we're going to number them. I always start, which will be the front right leg, but when it's this way up, the left leg, call this number 1. I've got a 1 there, and I'm going to mark along our sight line up the leg. So that'll be the position this leg will be in. Also, I like to draw around so we can see the depth of the leg into the seat when we take them apart again. So this is going to be number 2. Number 3. Number 4. It's best to go overboard on marking and numbering things because it's very easy. You turn things up the other way to get confused. The more identifying marks you put on there, the better. So we've now got stretchers which are going to run go front to back on the legs here. So there's different ways you can decide where to put them, but for this chair what we're going to do is measure up the leg, coming this way. The front leg will come up 11 inches, Then on the back leg, see what we can get over. We're going to go 12 inches. The exact amount is up to you. The stretchers nearer the seat look perhaps a bit more modern. Those that are a bit further down the leg, perhaps a bit more traditional, but there's no right or wrong.
A rubber band will indicate where our stretchers will go. I sight along the rubber band to get this in line with the marks that we've made when we mark for the stretcher positions. And then by sighting over the top of the leg, we can eyeball the midpoint, which will be the drilling point for our mortise.
So we're now going to drill the holes for the stretcher. We've got a 230mm bits, so we have the standard auger one, but then this is one that is angled, so you get much less chance of any breakout on the back side. Speed the process up. We've got two drills, so swapping backwards and forwards. So we then use the rubber band to help check our alignment. So the drill is centered so it follows that line. Swap over to the minimal breakout bit. And once we get the holes now established, I'll just drop the rubber band down, otherwise the drill bit will break the rubber band. Right, well actually we can, at this stage we can get rid of the rubber band because we can actually sight through this hole onto the back of the drill. I've got a little dot on the back of the drill, so we can look through the hole. Good.
We then repeat the process for the other side.
So these are 13mm holes. We'll just put a 13 on there to remind us. So our stretchers are going to go through those. So to measure those we use a couple of skewers. Fit those through the hole. On that side. I'm lifting it up so we get to the top of the hole, which will be our longest measurement because there's a slight, there's a tapering in, getting closer together.
Then move on to the lathe to turn the stretchers. We start off by rough turning the blank into a cylinder. Next we mark the layout for the centre point as well as the two tenons. The tenons are sized with a 13mm spanner, which this matches the diameter of the holes we drilled in the legs. The stretchers are shaped into a gentle taper to give it a nice overall shape. I then finished with sandpaper going from 120 to 180 then down to 240 grit to give a nice smooth finish. The process is repeated for the other stretcher. The excess is then trimmed off the end of the tenons so they're ready to go in the chair.
Looking at the stretchers, it's nice to have the, there we go, the bullseye, so to speak. So you've got the grain, so have that on the outside. So that's the nicest looking part, so we want that aligned this way.
The centre point is eyeballed and marked into the groove in the middle of the stretcher. Mortises are then drilled with a bit that has a taped depth stop so you don't go all the way through.
Now I'm going to measure for the centre stretcher. This is 2 skewers glued together. That will fit in there. Because these don't go all the way through. The reason I don't put these all the way through is that if you drill them on the groove we've cut and then drill from the inside, by the time it hits the outside it's off centre. So you could drill from the outside in, but then it won't be that off centre on the inside. So if you're being stopped, it solves that problem. So we're going to go to the shortest side of the hole, so that's towards the back. Mark that. And mark that. To get our measurement. So that's 40 centimetres, 400 mil. So we go for 404. Sorry. Alright, 404. Yeah, 404 mil. Put 4 millimeters on just to give it that extra stretch. And then depth wise, we'll get a depth gauge. Right, so they're both about the same depth. And that's 25 mil. So we'll cut the tenons probably just about 23 mil, just a little bit shorter. We don't want the bottom out really. We use the shoulder to hold it, and that gives us a little bit of room for the glue. So now we'll turn the centre stretcher to fit that. Before we take everything apart,
to start thinking about gluing it up, we want to take a line around each of the top of the tenons. So that we know how much we've got sort of spare on top. Trim them down a little. So we've got a clean surface. Remember, keep your hand out of the way when you're doing this, because the tendency is it go through and you've got your hand there. Very easy to crash into your hand. Right, that leaves us a nice clean top of the tenon, so we can mark the direction we want the tenon to go in. So we've got a grain running this way. We don't want to bang our wedge in the same direction of the grain, because that could split the seat. So what we need to do is come across this way, so at right angles to the grain, and try and get these as neat as possible. Draw a line through the middle. Do it, line them up like that, then they both line up with each other. It looks neater. If they're all at different angles, it sort of spoils the look of the chair a bit. Well, I think it does. I notice these things. A lot of people don't, but when you make chairs, you know these things. So that'll be the direction of the cut. Ready to put our wedge in. I use a bandsaw to cut the curves for the wedges that will go into the top of the legs. Okay, so the top of our seat is done, but nothing to the bottom of the seat. So this is a plain surface, so we could just leave it like that. I've got all the markings on there still, but it's quite nice to do something a little bit different. Other than the flat plain wood. So what I'm going to do is just go over the trebuchet, just put some texture into the bottom. Gives it sort of a hand-hewn look, which is quite nice. I like it anyway. But obviously you can do what you like with the bottom of the chair. And also I'm going to leave a smooth section to tack in. I'll put my initials and the date on the bottom. Right, so for the wedges, I've got some offcuts from the same piece of wood as the chair, but I mean, obviously that could be anything. Just trim them down. Now we're ready to start our glue up. So we want to lay our legs out. 3, 4, 1, 2. Center stretcher. 1, 2. 3, 4.
to get them the right way around. Stretchers, so we glue the stretchers together first and put the stretchers into the legs and the legs into the chair. We've got the wedges all lined up here. We've got damp cloth so we can wipe off any glue, overspill. We've got PVA glue. And I'll keep a chisel on hand just in case I need to do a last minute trimming of a wedge, something like that. Right, so I think we're ready to go. Lining our pencil mark up to the groove. Just working the glue around the inside. Make sure we get them pretty much in the right plane. Don't overload it with glue. It's quite tight fitting mortises, it will just splurge out if we put too much in. So there's number one. Like that. Roughly right. Again, making sure they're in the right plane. Leg number 4. Right, this is going to need a little bit of encouragement. In. Again, just putting it in. Each time just put it back in the chair loosely so that everything's in the right angles. everything is lined up there. Looks good. Let's move that out of the way. And then put some glue into the leg holes. I find the best thing for this is just keep your finger in there. Good thing with PVA glue, it's easy to get it off your finger. In. Yeah, we're down to our lines. You can hear a slight difference to the sound when it's driven home. It's always reassuring. Okay. I'm going to put our wedges in. Now, as often happens when you bang the legs in, the cuts close up because of the tapering. Once it's started off, tip the chair up so this leg is square on the ground. So the force is going straight down the wedge. And you get a change of sound once the wedge is fully in. The wedges are slightly wider, a little bit, yeah, just a fraction wider, not a problem. Rather than narrow, you end up with a gap. Right, get rid of the excess glue. So, these will just split the tenon. your position. It's for the tenon to be sitting on the bench, so the force goes straight down into the bench. Try not to hit the chair leg like I did now. Again, these are being done, the grain in the leg is running this way, so we're cutting them at 90 degrees, perpendicular to that.
The wedges are cut off quickly as you need to be able to place the end of the tenon on the bench to be able to tap the wedges in from the other side. Once the glue has dried, the top of the tenons and the wedges can be trimmed away using a carving gouge. It's important to make sure you don't go in too far into the seat with this and work down gradually, and then this can be finished off with a cabinet scraper.
So we're going to level up the seat and trim the legs. So what we want to do obviously is making sure it's level in this plane, but we're actually going to tip it backwards in this plane, and the seat's going to be more like this. Obviously we're going to reference off the bench, we want to make sure that's fairly level, which is pretty good on here. Right, so looking out there, it looks like side to side this way we're level. We've got one leg off the floor at the back, so we'll weight it in place. I've then got a 2-inch block here that I use, I'll keep for this job. So we'll put the spirit level on there. We now need to raise the front up to get that bubble in position. So that gives us our tilt back that way. This is a double check. Yeah, so we're okay side to side as well. In terms of how high I want this to be off the ground, I'm going to go for 18.5 inches. This is to do here. So this is way too tall at the moment. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 inches to come off. Right, 4 inches. Bring the vise out, we can use that just to help hold it steady. I'm looking at this line, down past it to the saw and to this line, and also to that line over there, to try and keep everything in the same plane. Right, it's the moment of truth. Not bad, but not perfect. We were a little bit leaning on the back edge there. This one's slightly off the ground. So, what we need to do.
The bases of the legs are chamfered using a file. This reduces the risk of the wood chipping out when the chair is dragged across the floor. If you're enjoying this video series on making the stick chair, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the like button, as this does help the channel to grow. Many thanks.